Yeah, so nowadays, as a consumer, we are shifting from buying capital goods to the sharing economy, where we rent the capacity we needed. For example, we are all familiar with the Uber and Lyft story, which is a pay-per-use model or product as a service model. The product as a service model is not new. It's already closer to our home. For example, most of us are familiar with the consumption-based model through our utilities companies. So we don't own a generator. Instead, we purchase electricity by the kilowatt hour. So this frees the consumer to purchase, operate, and maintain the power generation equipment. At the same time, the power company earn a consistent revenue stream. Another example is product as a service model exists for a long time is power by the hour, a Rolls-Royce trademark which was invented in 1962 to support the Viper engine on the Hawker Siddeley 125 business jet. A complete engine and accessory replacement service was offered on a fixed cost per flying hour basis. This aligned the interest of the manufacturer and where the flight operators who only paid for the engines that performed well. Now, such performance-based contract, pay-per-use model, consumption-based model are going to become more common business models. So in this session, we are going to see how your product can transform into such an innovative business model. I am Ram Shankar CS, Chief Executive Officer of Maxbyte. I welcome you all to this session to understand what is product as a service, what is the role of technology in enabling these models, how it benefits the consumer, the service provider, and the financier, what are the complexities involved, what would be the transformation approach, and how Maxbyte can enable such model with a digital platform with case studies. Let's start with the product as a service, what it is. In general product lifecycle, the creativity part starts with discern or discovery, design, analysis, prototyping, lab validation, field validation, and verification takes place. Later, the product is taken to the market to promote, sell, use, realize the benefits by customers, and manage the total product, which are the value part of the process. Here, both the creativity and value to the consumers are combined in an innovation. So in this context, let's understand how the innovation and values are realized by the consumer with respect to a product and also solution and also a service. If you take only the value part of the product life cycle, there are 5 different ways the consumer and the supplier gets benefited. Starting with the product, the consumer invests capital, buy the product, and use it to get its value for the total life cycle. The solution approach is kind of a package which is developed or configured for the customer requirements or and also for the configuration part of it. So here the problem is, again, the customer has to invest capital and buy the solution. Along with the product solution, within the guaranteed period, the services are supplied to assure the product is functioning as intended. Later, the guaranteed period, the customer gets extended to the service support with warranty renewals and again invest in capital for spare parts. But the utility services, it means value generation services, is the whole product or solution development, implementation, operation, maintenance, consumables are taken by the service provider. So, and for these services, the customer doesn't need to invest any capital in upfront investment. So they can pay or subscribe for the use for the performance or the value they realize. Beyond that, customer will also get the value-added services with the additional subscriptions. Let's take a quick example as Uber or Ola, where we use a car when we need it and we pay for how much we travel. which comes as a pay-per-use model. In addition to that, we get other value-added services like digital video content while we travel, newspapers to read, comfortable cars, all comes with a premium subscription on top of the base subscription. So this utilities-based model also helps in terms of environmental called circular supply chain contributions. So what it means is, in traditional product life cycle, asset or the product lose control when it transferred as a first-hand or a second-hand use, and the product gets obsolete for scrap for the end of life. Because the circular economy chain, the asset, okay, and the product given a service get refurbished, remanufactured, recycled for multiple use cycle to increase the lifespan. So this helps the customer to upgrade product without any additional effort or investment. And also for service provider, it increases their profitability. It helps the environment for sustainable world to live. So currently, many of the companies are in the product or solution stage, and many companies want to move towards a product as a service model, and it's not easy as well. It has its own complexities, and of course, lots of benefits as well. But product as a service transformation need a structured approach, which I will cover in this session. So in summary, with the product value chain, customer has to get the product with capital investment, get a warrant renewal service, obsolete the product, and again get the new product. But in the product as a service model, service provider take care the development, implementation, operate, manage, provide additional value, do the circular economic, and optimize the solution for higher value. So with the introduction to the product as a service, let us now understand how the technology like IoT can help and enable product as a service model. Let's take an example. In a traditional business model, a manufacturer will buy the robot with the capital investment. The maintenance are reactive, so it reduces the robot availability time for overall equipment efficiency. And if they need the spares, they need to purchase it again in a capex. With the help of Internet of Things technology, the maintenance are now proactive and even predictive, which increases the machine uptime and resulted in improved overall equipment efficiency. Here, the service provider takes care of the machines with maintenance as a service model, where they monitor, analyze, and manage the robots. This can extend even to a product as a service as well. Thanks to IoT technology, which helps to understand the operational process, business requirements, and create digital twin of it to offer manufacturing as a service model. So here, the manufacturer can pay only for the usage of the machine that cost and add to the part produced. Okay, and also as a digital currency wallet through the secured financial transactions, the machine gets paid and the another machine also gets paid, and the cost goes into the product. So all these are possible only if you are able to measure, analyze the data on the whole process. Now let's see how IoT technology work to convert the data into value. The robo or the machine, whatever we are seeing, can be digitized or made smarter with the sensors, data acquisitions, cloud platforms, data aggregation, and the data science. The data helps to solve the use cases like low volume, high mix, production OE improvement, part validation for quality, predictive maintenance, consumables, spare parts demand forecast, and circular supply chain. Let's see how a real-time world example of IoT can enable product as a service model. The Coke, the first ever IoT product was, a vending machine developed by Carnegie Mellon University, okay, of the computer science department in 1982. So what it does is, whenever the consumables, it means the Coke or the other containers get consumed, it automatically send an alert to the inventory of Coke factory, and the logistics takes place, and again it get refilled. So that's the first ever implementation made as per some of the research in 1982. Another example I would like to quote is a system of system concept. You can see a tractor, okay, as a product. You can see another tractor called smart product. Okay, what it means is, so a tractor which is embedded with some control systems or with some intelligence. So next you are seeing as a smart connected product. So what it means is it has an intelligence. Also, it can connect to the world through the IoT technology. But still, it doesn't go for a innovative business models like product as a service. The next stage is called product system, where the tractor interact with the planters, interact with the irrigation system, interact with the tillers. So this creates an ecosystem, and it can go for a tractor as a service or a rental based model. So next, the higher side is the system of system, where the total product system gets interacted with the economy, interacted with weather condition, interact with other irrigation systems and generate value. This is an example of how a technology like IoT can bring new business models and value to the industry. Another example is company called DriveNow. It's in a European company. So DriveNow is one example of a company that offers car as a service. So customer via the app quickly find, reserve and unlock an available car in their vicinity and use the car as long as they need it. When finished, they simply leave the car at the closest public parking and end the booking. So they just need to pay for the minute they used, and this includes maintenance, insurance, tax, parking, fuel, video, audio content, and also the theft detection. So all these things are possible only if you are able to completely monitor, analyze the data of the particular car and also the user behavior. Another example I would like to cover is, of course, you all know Mr. Sachin Tendulkar. So you can see he's carrying a glass of water, okay, but he's talking about a company called Live Pure. Live Pure is a brand who manufacture water purifiers. But now the water purifiers from the Live Pure are not sold. So they are selling water. So they're doing water as a service business model. Here, the flow sensors, pH sensors in the water purifier would calculate and indicate the consumption of the water and when the RO membrane has to replace for high availability and clean water supply to the consumers. So these are the use cases which use the power of technology like IoT and bring a lot more value to the consumers in the industries. So that's the introduction about the product as a service. Now let's see what are the benefits because of product as a service. There are two people in this spectrum: the enterprise customers or any consumer and the service provider. So let's see about the customers. So customer get the product and service features adapted to the actual business needs. At least in the previous situation, the product whatever developed by the manufacturer, it has to be supposed to be used by no mean. But with this situation, actual need of the business is available as a service and get an improvised supplier offering and technologically more up to date. So it's also a less risk and a smart investment for the customers, since the product as a service have lower upfront investment and it also has an opportunity for cost saving and it is completely predictable the total cost of ownership. Since this model enabled by technology like IoT for smart connected remote operations, which brings other tangible benefits like improved maintenance, increased uptime, and even helps in crisis situations like COVID-19. And for service providers, since the service providers have access to the data, now they can able to clearly understand how the customer buy, use, manage, and enhance the product, which brings a deeper customer relationship, which resulted in increased customer loyalty. As accountability for the product is now shifted from customer to the service provider, the incentives for the service providers are, with the help of increasing resource assess productivity, which prolong the lifetime of the product. So this generates another revenue stream for the service provider. Though the optimization and the usage of the assets are higher, the material flows for the recycling is also higher. They're applying the concept of circular supply chain process. It means the product can be repaired, refurbished, reused, and replaced, would highly contribute to the environment, which provide credits and incentives to the service providers. And also for the service providers, this model brings a recurring, stable, and predictable revenue, since it's a subscription or rental model. Also, this brings the cost saving, higher margin, and profitable opportunities in longer run. For example, you can see a revenue trend hypothetical situation here. So this is a revenue trend where you can see in the blue color, it's kind of a one-off or one-time product selling approach. Okay, so this product approach to keep pumping out more units and sell them in order to make revenue. So this is not a particularly predictable revenue model. You can see the ups and downs of the one-time sales revenue. Whereas in the selling a subscription, now have a backlog of revenue year over year, okay, for opportunities. Further, through the use of data analytics to enhance the value what customer receives, we can even top up the additional revenue for the product as a service providers. Of course, there are a lot of complexities, challenges involved in this model. Let's see them as well. So these are the challenges listed in the financial aspect of this total model. Okay, so I'd like to talk about these 5 financial complexities involved here. So if to start with, in contrast to the linear business model, the incoming cash flow of this service providers is delayed, as the customer pay as a small service fee as a recurring basis, instead of paying kind of a one-off when paying the product. Similarly, instead of one-off relationship between the company and the customer as in a product sales model, here in the past model, the relationship between the service provider and the consumer is an ongoing engagement. So the credit worthy of the customer is crucial for the robustness of the cash flow. The ongoing relationship between the service provider and the client is captured in service contract. So it is an utmost important assessment, the terms and conditions, in order to be aware of the responsibility of each party. The assets that are accepted by the financiers as security collateral for the loan for this business, and which can be seized by financiers in an event of default. If the assets are low value, example, household applications, clothing, mobile phones, etc., so they cannot easily serve as a collateral for this product as a service business model. As a supply chain concept is a strong as well as it's a weakest link in the chain. Risk exposure depends on the resilience of the supply chain network instead of a single company or the service provider. So to counter these complexities, MaxBite has come up with a structured product as a service transformation approach. So before going into the transformation approach, let's understand functionally like how this transformation would happen, or how a product as a service model should be made. There are 3 levels here, where the physical or the assets in the structural level, the usage or the functionality of the products are in the functional level, and the overall objective and demand of the customers are in the demand level. These levels have to be mapped with different revenue streams, like mentioned in the right side. So demand-oriented solutions will be beneficial for the customers as well as the service provider. Here the key is the overall objective and the customer demand. So let's understand how to arrive the product as a service demand requirement with a quick example. So you can see an example in the 3 levels. Let's take space heating radiator. So why space heating radiator is required? It's mainly to transfer the heat between the water and the air. So why that heat transfer is required? It's mainly to keep the room temperature in a set point. So why we need to maintain that set point? It is mainly to keep the level of comfort in the building for the building occupants. So why we need to make this? So this is mainly as an overall objective to give a comfortable work environment. So this how, yeah, this is called a teleological chain. So this how, yeah, a product has to be viewed to convert into a product as a service and give value to the end customer. So let's see how to accomplish this innovative model with a structured transformation approach. There are transformation considerations for this approach from product to product as a service. So the considerations are, so in terms of customers, let's understand who are the new customer segments, how to transition the existing customers. So in terms of the value proposition and business model, understand how to redefine the value proposition from focusing on selling an asset to delivering a service for a fee. There are tools available like business model canvas can be applied for this redefinition. In terms of financial business case, understand what is the impact of cost and revenue, what is the pricing model to use, how to manage the cash flow impact. In terms of smart connected product lifecycle management, understand what product redesign is needed. Do product development processes support after sales updates and customization? What new systems and capabilities are needed? How to manage data ownership, privacy, and security. In terms of partner ecosystem, we need to understand there are three technology partners, three partners in this: technology partner, financial partners, go-to-market partners. So what should be their role? What should be in-house development? What should be provided by the partners? So how this ecosystem should work? What is the role of each party? So these are the things to be clearly understand. In terms of sales and distributions, so we need to think through the strategy of sales. In the product as a service going to be the model through digital. So you are going to understand whether you're going to sell these products through self-service digital model, or you're going to do a regional distribution and dealership model. So what is the impact of sales roles and incentives? So are new distributors needed to reach new segment? What is the impact of existing distributors? So these are the things to be considered in terms of sales and distribution. So in terms of the circular economy, understand, is there a reserve logistics strategy embedded to the business plan in order to close the cycle? And a solution can be track and trace available in order to be less dependent upon the resources and to ensure the assets are returned. So far, these transformation approaches on the effective implementation of the product as a service. So the Maxbyte has come up with a digital software platform, okay, under a Byte Factory product portfolio. So let's see the platform. So this is an architecture of the digital platform which covers the value chain. For example, so this is a digital platform which supports engineering, manufacturing, logistics, service, and circular economy. It has different layers, starting with the application layer, where the end users would be the people. It can be like the end customer, the manufacturing operations head, or it can be an engineering head. And it also have access to the network operation center, service centers, operations and maintenance engineers, and payment gateways. So which have the modules to interact with social media, interact with analytics, and also the cloud services. So it has an integration framework, so which can integrate with any enterprise applications like ERP, PLM, CRM, and warehouse management systems. So this is closely connected with the other analytics modules, which has two things. One is into the operational modules and also into the analytical modules. So operational modules is more towards the design, operations, service, and circular economic apps part of it. And analytic module is more into the algorithm aspects of the business logics like into the machine learning, artificial intelligence, and other analytics tools. So this is the platform what MaxByte has come up with under the Byte Factory portfolio. So it also has a case study. We have already deployed to one of our customer called Aspiration Energy, who are associated with IIT Madras as well. So they don't sell heat pump, they sell heat as a service. So their revenue stream is they reduce the energy in a factory and they get paid off it. So they apply renewable energies and they have heat pumps and they do complete installation, commissioning, and they manage the complete maintenance aspect of it. So for the customers of Aspiration Energy, they don't need to have any upfront investment. So they just need to subscribe for this heat pumps and get the benefit out of it. Similarly, MaxByte has a model called Digital Factory as a Service. So MaxByte predominantly do digital manufacturing solutions, takes care end-to-end, starting from sensor to software, installation, services, and support. So in the traditional model, we used to do kind of a one-time cost for the sensors and services, and software comes in a subscription basis. So now we provide the complete solution in terms of hardware, software, services, the managed services, and everything as a subscription basis. So there is another example where we use our platform for ourselves. So there is an old age that says, if you can measure it, you can improve it. But the product as a service, take it a step further. If you can measure it, you can even sell it. So product as a service is going to become a more common business model. So that's all I have for the session today. In upcoming webinar series, I'm going to cover more about the product as a service in detail. So stay tuned on this. And also I request you even to subscribe to the Factory Sense community to know more about the upcoming webinars, certification programs for learning and your career development. So thank you so much for listening this session. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will meet you once again soon. Bye-bye.